Hey guys, thank you for pressing play and welcome back to my channel. I'm your girl Money Talks. For those of you who don't know me, I'm here to discuss all things around love, life, relationships, spirituality, you name it. If you think about it, I'm most likely gonna speak on it. So if you haven't already, please make sure you hit that subscribe button and let's get straight into today's video. I've decided after last week, I was going to create a little bit of a series out of believing in your source. A lot of people don't actually realize just how much power you give to other people when it comes to things around your personal development. It sounds quite weird in saying it, but I didn't personally realize how much of myself I was giving away that I really didn't need to. Everything that I needed to build myself up legit came from within. It's a little bit strange because many people say, you know, well, if you're not confident, how can you believe that you can just go inside and, you know, just feel great about yourself? And it's not necessarily about just going inside and feeling great. It does not happen overnight, and I'm never going to sit here and lie and tell you that. This is something that I am still currently working on, and I can share as far as I have learned. With coming into a phase of yourself where it is stepping into a position where you are genuinely believing in the tools that you have, the resources that you have, the capabilities that you have. It's a matter of not necessarily feeling like you have to outsource absolutely everything to be confident in yourself. I know last week I did mention on not being afraid of going forward and saying, you know what, I need help, I need to learn more. That's a little bit different to what I'm talking about today. What I am talking about today is a matter of really just taking time and not putting your worth in anyone else's hands. That's the word that I'm looking for, your worth. Especially when it comes to like dating or like self-validation, very often you want to hear from someone else that, you know, you look good. You want to know that the partner that you're with finds you attractive, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it, but you can't feel that way only by hearing it from other people. You have to genuinely believe, I look good, I feel good, and if you don't, work on feeling those things about yourself without anyone else's input. Don't get me wrong, I love compliments. Like, I know people might think that sounds big-headed. I love compliments, I don't need compliments, but I like that kind of like, okay, what I saw in the mirror is correct, hello. I like that feeling. Not because it's like, oh, I'm self-absorbed or anything like that, but I genuinely love myself, and there's nothing wrong with people pouring positivity into you on top of what you pour onto yourself. What I mean by living in power. It's very often that I find the same type of conversations revisiting about people trying to outsource the power that is within already. But it's a part of recognizing what you have already that helps build that confidence, because you don't need that validation. For me personally, it is a matter of knowing what I have to offer, knowing the skills that I have, knowing what I'm good at as well as knowing what I'm bad at, and being able to be the first person to reward myself and congratulate myself for how good I did on anything in my life, big or small. Whether it is a matter of, you know, I'm starting a new job, for example, and I have managed to learn something that other people can probably do in their sleep because that is what they're used to doing. I'm still going to celebrate that because it is new to me, and it is going to allow me to keep having the momentum that I need to keep going. Sometimes when we place our rewards in other people's hands, it then boils down to you relying on that validation to confirm everything you want to do, whatever you feel, how you look, whatever it might be. And part of believing in your source is genuinely being your first and foremost cheerleader. Living in power it has many different aspects of it, and one of the biggest aspects is choosing to be aware of who you are. Now, I mentioned this in my last video, but a part of being aware is just being able to recognize what you're good at versus what you're bad at, being aware of what it is that you need to work on. Recognizing that you're not good at something doesn't necessarily mean that you now need to start like putting yourself down. It means you have an opportunity to decide whether it's something that deserves the energy for you to continue and get better at it, or if it's something that you can revisit later. The confidence behind choosing to go for it comes from the power within to say, I don't care how this outcome may go, I'm doing this for me. There is a sense of power behind being able to credit yourself before anyone else has to. So, for example, at work, you might feel like, you know, you've done a fantastic job, but you don't feel like the job is as good if your boss don't recognize it. Me, on the other hand, I like to feel like I've bossed whatever I face, big or small. I celebrate whatever wins I personally see as wins, big or small, because that's what keeps me driven behind the tasks and the stuff that I'm doing. Now, everyone's going to approach it differently. Everyone's going to look at it differently. But anything that my manager or my boss might say to me is just extra of what I've already said to myself. I've already congratulated myself. I've already given myself the pats on the back that I know I deserve, because I know where my challenges lie and I know what made me feel good. I know what accomplishments make me feel good, not what is written down as to what I should feel good about, if that makes sense. Basically, what I am trying to get at is, with my phrase and my sentence of living in power, whatever you decide to put your mind to, it's very important to be able to identify something that keeps you wanting to try, something that keeps you wanting to stay within your purpose and within your craft, versus what drives it and what makes you actually get up and do it, what makes you take those challenges and those risks around that craft that you're doing. It's very important to know the difference between the two. Another thing about being able to live in your power is understanding that what you have, the source that you bring to the table, we're bringing that word in this week, the source that you bring to the table, your condiment. It is condiment. Yeah, I think that's the word. But anyway, you know what I mean. Your ketchup, your barbecue, your hot sauce, whatever the sauce is, what you bring to the table, it's about knowing as well, if someone turns you away, that it doesn't mean that you're necessarily bad at the things that you're trying to accomplish and the things that you're doing, but they might not be able to recognize who or what your potential is. Sometimes it could be down to us not being able to recognize it yet. Sometimes it is a matter of, actually, this place just isn't for me, and what my potential is going to be, my higher self knows that I'm going to exceed that. So that opportunity isn't going to be there. I'm going to do another video, it's very separate, on knowing the difference between redirections versus blocks. But just to stay in the moment, I have seen and I have experienced being in a position where there's things that I wanted to do and I listened to the outside voices before I listened to my inside voice, which then led me to delaying something that I could have started before, where I've learned from those things, where I can now speak on those things, and that's probably why it needed to happen in that way. But where I've often allowed people's perceptions to stop me from doing what it is I want to do, or feeling about something the way I wanted to feel. Your friends aren't always going to agree with you. The people around you aren't always going to agree with you, but it's about you being able to take the risk and go for things that you feel good about. Keep saying you, because it's all internal. It is genuinely all internal. Your confidence and you believing in what you have and you being able to keep your power internal is what's going to allow you to keep going when those redirects happen, to keep going when that door might close, to keep going when someone tells you to quit. Those are the things that I mean when I say living in power. Your power is internal. Take the time out to be aware of what it is, to be aware of what you have, and start working on it. Take your time, really get to know yourself, really start to understand yourself and understand the model of being self-aware and how being self-aware allows you to manage yourself better and truly live in your power. There has often been times that even now, as I said, I'm still working on myself. I will sit down and I'll analyze, how do I feel about things? Do I really feel as confident about this particular thing as I think I am? And we'll really have to reassess it. And you got to kind of treat yourself like a job. Treat your body and your mind like a job. The same way you will have check-ins and one-to-ones, have check-ins and one-to-ones with yourself so you can remain in control. You can continue to manage yourself, because once we lose our awareness, that's when we stop being able to manage ourselves. It's so important to have that awareness just so we can simply keep our power. Certain times you might find that you give energy to people that you will walk away from and know, I didn't need to give that much of myself away. This is all the same power that I am referring to. It's all the same energy. I prefer to word it as power because it is the driving force in everything that I do. I really hope what I'm saying is clear. I hope that I didn't waffle on too much, and you know, I just want to help those, especially those who ask me to do talks on confidence, help you to kind of recognize that as much as you might feel you're in a position where you're a little bit lost or people don't understand what you have to offer, as long as you understand it and as long as you know and can figure out what direction you want to go in, you'll find your way and the right people will understand you. I will continue this with the last section of confidence, believe in your source, next week and round everything up that I'm saying. I hope this was as clear as the last one. As I said, if you haven't watched the last one, please do go back, have a look. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe so you don't miss any of my other videos, anything I'm to talk about, or you can go back and actually see if there's anything that I've said that is relative to you. As I say, I do not know everything. I do not claim to know everything. However, I'm on a journey and I'm pretty sure what I learned could benefit someone watching this video today. If you don't follow me on Instagram, please do, at Money Talks, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.